Let's get ready for the Montana real estate exam with 100 questions covering key state laws, principles, and practices you'll need to know. And keep an eye on the bottom corner. There's something there that could make a big difference in your prep. We'll tell you how to use it in just a minute. Now, let's get started.
Let's start with a quick review of licensing requirements and procedures. Montana licensing requirements and procedures. What is the minimum age requirement for obtaining a real estate license in Montana? Is it A, 16 years, B, 18 years, C, 21 years, or D, 25 years? The answer is B, 18 years. In Montana, individuals must be at least 18 years old to qualify for a real estate license. This is a standard requirement to ensure a basic level of maturity and responsibility. Which of the following is a prerequisite for taking the Montana real estate licensing exam? Is it A, completion of a pre-licensing education course, B, 2 years of experience in real estate, C, submission of a fingerprint card, or D, a bachelor's degree in business? The answer is A, completion of a pre-licensing education course. Completion of a pre-licensing education course is mandatory before sitting for the exam. This ensures that candidates have the necessary knowledge base to operate as real estate professionals.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsy.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsy, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
What is the required number of pre-licensing education hours for a real estate salesperson in Montana? Is it A, 60 hours, B, 80 hours, C, 70 hours, or D, 50 hours? The answer is C, 70 hours. Montana requires aspiring real estate salespersons to complete 70 hours of pre-licensing education. This ensures that candidates have a comprehensive understanding of real estate principles and practices before taking the licensing exam. Which of the following is required to maintain an active real estate license in Montana? Is it A, 12 hours of continuing education annually, B, passing a renewal exam every 2 years, C, submitting a new application every year, or D, completing an internship with a licensed broker? The answer is A, 12 hours of continuing education annually. Continuing education is essential for maintaining an active real estate license in Montana. Licensees must complete 12 hours of continuing education annually to keep their knowledge up to date. Continuing education requirements. What is the minimum number of continuing education hours required annually for real estate license renewal in Montana? Is it A, 6 hours, B, 10 hours, C, 12 hours, or D, 15 hours? The answer is C, 12 hours. Montana requires real estate licensees to complete 12 hours of continuing education annually. This ensures that professionals remain updated with industry standards and practices. Which of the following topics is not typically included in Montana's continuing education requirements for real estate professionals? Is it A, real estate ethics, B, real estate law updates, C, property management, or D, culinary arts? The answer is D, culinary arts. Montana's continuing education focuses on real estate laws, ethics, and practices. Topics unrelated to real estate, such as culinary arts, are not included. How often must Montana real estate licensees complete the required continuing education hours? Is it A, annually, B, biannually, C, every 3 years, or D, every 5 years? The answer is A, annually. Montana real estate licensees are required to complete their continuing education hours annually to maintain their licenses and stay informed on industry developments. Which entity is responsible for setting the continuing education requirements for real estate professionals in Montana? Is it A, National Association of Realtors, B, Montana Board of Realty Regulation, C, Montana Department of Commerce, or D, Real Estate Education Council? The answer is B, Montana Board of Realty Regulation. The Montana Board of Realty Regulation sets the continuing education requirements, ensuring professionals adhere to state standards and remain competent in their field. Montana Real Estate Laws and Regulations. Montana-specific fair housing laws. Which of the following is a protected class under Montana's fair housing laws? Is it A, employment status, B, political affiliation, C, familial status, or D, credit score? The answer is C, familial status. Montana's fair housing laws protect against discrimination based on familial status, among other classes. This means that individuals cannot be discriminated against because they have children under 18 living with them. Under Montana fair housing laws, what is the definition of reasonable accommodation? Is it A, providing free housing, B, adjustments to policies for disabled individuals, C, lowering rent for all tenants, or D, offering additional amenities? The answer is B, adjustments to policies for disabled individuals. Reasonable accommodation refers to changes or adjustments in rules, policies, practices, or services that may be necessary for a person with a disability to have equal opportunity to use and enjoy a dwelling. What action is considered discriminatory under Montana fair housing laws? Is it A, charging higher rent for larger apartments, B, offering discounts to long-term tenants, C, requesting references from all applicants, or D, refusing to rent based on race? The answer is D, refusing to rent based on race. Refusing to rent to someone because of their race is discriminatory. Montana law prohibits discrimination based on race, color, national origin, sex, disability, and familial status. Which agency enforces Montana's fair housing laws? Is it A, Montana Human Rights Bureau, B, Montana Department of Labor, C, Montana Housing Corporation, or D, Montana Real Estate Commission? The answer is A, Montana Human Rights Bureau. The Montana Human Rights Bureau is responsible for enforcing fair housing laws, ensuring compliance with state regulations, and addressing complaints of discrimination. What must landlords in Montana do to comply with fair housing laws regarding advertising? Is it A, include rental prices in all ads, B, avoid discriminatory language, C, use only online platforms, or D, offer discounts to selected groups? The answer is B, avoid discriminatory language. Landlords must ensure all advertising is free from discriminatory language or implications, promoting equal opportunity and compliance with fair housing standards. What is the penalty for a first-time violation of Montana's fair housing laws by a real estate professional? Is it A, warning letter, B, fine up to $10,000, C, community service, or D, license suspension? The answer is B, fine up to $10,000. A first-time violation of Montana's fair housing laws can result in a fine up to $10,000, emphasizing the state's commitment to preventing discrimination in housing-related activities. Montana-specific contract requirements. What is required for a real estate contract to be enforceable in Montana? Is it A, the contract must be in writing, B, the contract must be verbal, C, the contract must be notarized, or D, the contract must be registered with the county? The answer is A, the contract must be in writing. In Montana, a real estate contract must be in writing to be enforceable, as per the Statute of Frauds. This ensures clarity and legal standing for both parties involved in the transaction. Which of the following is not a requirement for a valid real estate contract in Montana? Is it A, offer and acceptance, B, consideration, C, written document, or D, witness signature? The answer is D, witness signature. Montana requires a valid offer, acceptance, consideration, and a written document for a real estate contract. A witness is not a legal requirement for the contract's validity. In Montana, what happens if a real estate contract lacks a legal description of the property? Is it A, the contract is still enforceable, B, the contract is voidable at the buyer's discretion, C, the contract is unenforceable, or D, the contract must be amended within 30 days? The answer is C, the contract is unenforceable. A legal description is essential in Montana real estate contracts to specify the property's exact location and boundaries. Without it, the contract is considered unenforceable. What is the purpose of including an earnest money deposit in a Montana real estate contract? Is it A, to cover closing costs, B, to show the buyer's serious intent, C, to pay for property inspections, or D, to guarantee the property's appraisal value? The answer is B, to show the buyer's serious intent. An earnest money deposit in Montana serves to demonstrate the buyer's serious intent to purchase. It acts as a form of security for the seller, showing the buyer's commitment to the transaction. Which party typically drafts the initial real estate contract in Montana transactions? Is it A, the seller's attorney, B, the title company, C, the seller's agent, or D, the buyer's agent? The answer is D, the buyer's agent. In Montana, the buyer's agent usually drafts the initial real estate contract. This is because the buyer initiates the transaction by presenting an offer to the seller. What must be included in a Montana real estate contract to comply with state laws? Is it A, legal description, price, and signatures, B, location, price, and verbal agreement, C, property size, location, and witness, or D, price, witness, and verbal agreement? The answer is A, legal description, price, and signatures. Montana law requires that all real estate contracts include the legal description of the property, the agreed price, and signatures from all parties involved to be enforceable.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Overview of Montana real estate statutes. What is the primary purpose of the Montana Board of Realty Regulation? Is it A, to set property tax rates, B, to license real estate professionals, C, to regulate home construction standards, or D, to provide real estate market analysis? The answer is B, to license real estate professionals. The Montana Board of Realty Regulation is responsible for licensing real estate professionals and ensuring compliance with state laws. It oversees the ethical and professional standards of real estate practice in Montana. In Montana, what is the maximum duration a real estate license can be inactive before it is considered expired? Is it A, 2 years, B, 1 year, C, 3 years, or D, indefinitely, as long as renewal fees are paid? The answer is A, 2 years. A real estate license in Montana can remain inactive for up to 2 years. After this period, the license is considered expired and cannot be reactivated without fulfilling additional requirements. What is the role of a designated broker in Montana real estate transactions? Is it A, to appraise property values, B, to conduct home inspections, C, to represent buyers exclusively, or D, To supervise real estate agents? The answer is D. To supervise real estate agents. The designated broker is responsible for supervising the activities of licensed real estate agents within their brokerage. They ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards in all transactions. Which of the following is prohibited under Montana real estate law? Is it A, charging commission fees, B, listing properties online, C, discriminating based on race, or D, providing property disclosures? The answer is C, discriminating based on race. Montana real estate law prohibits discrimination against protected classes in housing transactions. This includes race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. What is the purpose of the Montana Real Estate Recovery Account? Is it A, to fund real estate education programs, B, to provide loans to new real estate agents, C, to compensate victims of real estate fraud, or D, to support real estate market research? The answer is C, to compensate victims of real estate fraud. The Montana Real Estate Recovery Account compensates consumers who suffer financial losses due to the fraudulent actions of licensed real estate professionals, ensuring consumer protection. Montana property ownership and land use. Types of property ownership: E, fee simple, leasehold, joint tenancy. What type of property ownership in Montana allows the owner the most comprehensive rights, including the ability to sell or transfer the property at will? Is it A, fee simple, B, leasehold, C, joint tenancy, or D, tenancy in common? The answer is A, fee simple. Fee simple ownership grants the owner the most extensive rights over the property, including the right to use, lease, or sell the property. It is the most common and absolute form of property ownership. Which form of property ownership in Montana involves two or more individuals owning property with equal rights and includes the right of survivorship? Is it A, tenancy in common, B, joint tenancy, C, community property, or D, fee simple? The answer is B, joint tenancy. Joint tenancy allows multiple owners to hold equal shares of a property, and upon the death of one owner, their share automatically transfers to the surviving owners. In Montana, which type of property ownership allows individuals to hold an undivided interest in property without the right of survivorship? Is it A, joint tenancy, B, fee simple, C, tenancy in common, or D, leasehold? The answer is C, tenancy in common. Tenancy in common allows multiple owners to hold undivided interests in a property, and each owner's share can be sold or transferred independently without the right of survivorship. Which of the following is true about leasehold estates in Montana? Is it A, they provide ownership rights, B, they include the right of survivorship, C, they are indefinite in duration, or D, they allow use of the property for a specified term? The answer is D, they allow use of the property for a specified term. Leasehold estates grant the tenant the right to occupy and use the property for a specified term as defined by the lease agreement without transferring ownership. What distinguishes joint tenancy from tenancy in common in Montana property ownership? Is it A, right of survivorship, B, equal ownership shares, C, ability to inherit shares, or D, duration of ownership? The answer is A, right of survivorship. The primary distinction is the right of survivorship in joint tenancy, where a deceased owner's interest automatically transfers to surviving owners, unlike tenancy in common where interests can be inherited. In Montana, which type of property ownership allows multiple owners to have equal shares and includes the right of survivorship? Is it A, tenancy in common, B, joint tenancy, C, leasehold estate, or D, fee simple? The answer is B, joint tenancy. Joint tenancy in Montana allows multiple owners to hold equal shares with the right of survivorship, meaning if one owner dies, their interest passes to the surviving owners.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsy link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero, swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Public versus private land use controls. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Montana? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to regulate land use and promote orderly development, C, to enhance public transportation, or D, to reduce urban sprawl? The answer is B, to regulate land use and promote orderly development. Zoning laws in Montana are designed to regulate land use, to promote orderly development, and separate incompatible land uses. They help maintain property values and ensure community safety and aesthetics. Which entity typically enforces private land use restrictions in Montana? Is it A, state government, B, federal government, C, homeowner associations, or D, county planning departments? The answer is C, homeowner associations. Homeowner associations often enforce private land use restrictions, such as covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CC&Rs, to maintain property values and community standards. What is a key difference between public and private land use controls in Montana? Is it A, public controls are government-imposed, while private controls are owner-agreed? B, private controls are more legally binding than public controls? C, public controls apply only to commercial properties? Or D, private controls cannot be challenged in court? The answer is A, public controls are government-imposed, while private controls are owner-agreed. Public land use controls are government-imposed regulations, like zoning laws, while private controls are restrictions agreed upon by property owners, such as covenants and deed restrictions. In Montana, who generally has the authority to change zoning classifications? Is it A, the state governor, B, the federal government, C, individual property owners, or D, local government bodies? The answer is D, local government bodies. Local government bodies, such as city councils or county commissions, have the authority to change zoning classifications through a public hearing process. What is an easement in the context of Montana property law? Is it A, a type of land ownership, B, a legal right to use another's land for a specific purpose, C, a temporary lease agreement, or D, a government-imposed restriction? The answer is B, a legal right to use another's land for a specific purpose. An easement is a legal right to use another's land for a specific purpose, such as a utility line or access road, without owning it. Land use and zoning laws. What is the purpose of an overlay district in Montana's zoning laws? Is it A, to replace existing zoning regulations entirely, B, to impose additional regulations for specific purposes, C, to decrease property taxes in certain areas, or D, to standardize zoning laws across the state? The answer is B, to impose additional regulations for specific purposes. An overlay district in Montana's zoning laws is designed to provide additional regulations on top of the existing zoning district to address specific issues such as environmental protection or historical preservation. Which entity is typically responsible for enforcing zoning laws in Montana? Is it A, state government, B, federal government, C, local government, or D, homeowners associations? The answer is C, local government. Local governments, such as city or county planning departments, are tasked with enforcing zoning laws, ensuring compliance with local land use regulations and ordinances. What is a variance in the context of Montana zoning laws? Is it A, a legal exception to zoning requirements? B, a type of zoning classification? C, a temporary zoning change? Or D, a zoning violation penalty? The answer is A, a legal exception to zoning requirements. A variance is a legal exception allowing a property owner to deviate from zoning requirements, typically granted when strict enforcement would cause undue hardship due to unique property circumstances. In Montana, what is the primary concern when granting a conditional use permit? Is it A, increasing tax revenue? B, reducing property values? C, expanding commercial zones? Or D, ensuring compatibility with the area? The answer is D, ensuring compatibility with the area. Conditional use permits allow specific uses not typically permitted in a zoning district, contingent on meeting conditions that mitigate impacts, ensuring compatibility with the surrounding area.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Condominiums and HOAs. Which of the following is a key responsibility of a homeowners association in Montana? Is it A, enforcing state property tax laws? B, maintaining common areas? C, issuing property deeds? Or D, approving all home sales? The answer is B, maintaining common areas. HOAs in Montana are responsible for maintaining common areas within a condominium or housing development. This includes tasks like landscaping, repairs, and ensuring amenities are functional and accessible to residents. What is a common element in a Montana condominium association? Is it A, the building's roof? B, individual unit interiors? C, personal garages? Or D, private balconies? The answer is A, the building's roof. Common elements in condominiums refer to parts of the property owned jointly by all unit owners, such as hallways, roofs, or swimming pools. These elements are managed by the condominium association. How does Montana law typically classify a condominium unit? Is it A, as a leasehold interest? B, as a cooperative share? C, as a separate parcel of real estate? Or D, as a timeshare? The answer is C, as a separate parcel of real estate. In Montana, a condominium unit is classified as a separate parcel of real estate. Owners have individual titles to their units, along with shared ownership of common areas. What is the primary purpose of a condominium declaration in Montana? Is it A, to assess property taxes? B, to set rental rates? C, to provide insurance coverage? Or D, to establish the condominium's legal framework? The answer is D, to establish the condominium's legal framework. A condominium declaration establishes the legal framework for the condominium, including the division of units and common elements, and sets forth the rights and responsibilities of the owners and the association. Environmental issues and water rights. What is the primary purpose of the Montana Water Use Act? Is it A, to promote recreational use of water bodies? B, to encourage industrial development? C, to manage and allocate water resources fairly? Or D, to regulate fishing activities? The answer is C, to manage and allocate water resources fairly. The Montana Water Use Act was established to manage water rights, ensuring a fair and efficient allocation of water resources while protecting existing rights and promoting sustainable use. Which of the following best describes a riparian right in Montana? Is it A, right to reasonable use of water for those owning land next to a watercourse? B, right to divert water for agricultural use regardless of location? C, right to sell water to neighboring properties? Or D, right to exclusive use of water on one's property? The answer is A, right to reasonable use of water for those owning land next to a watercourse. Riparian rights in Montana allow landowners adjacent to a watercourse to make reasonable use of the water, provided it does not harm downstream users or the environment. How does the Montana Environmental Policy Act influence land use decisions? Is it A, by mandating immediate approval of all land development projects? B, by requiring environmental impact assessments for significant projects? C, by prohibiting any development on agricultural land? Or D, by prioritizing economic benefits over environmental concerns? The answer is B, by requiring environmental impact assessments for significant projects. The MEPA requires state agencies to consider environmental impacts before making decisions, ensuring that environmental factors are integrated into the decision-making process for sustainable land use. What is a primary environmental concern associated with property development in Montana? Is it A, increased property taxes, B, decreased tourism, C, higher utility costs, or D, impact on local ecosystems and biodiversity? The answer is D, impact on local ecosystems and biodiversity. One major concern is the potential impact on local ecosystems, which can lead to habitat loss and biodiversity reduction, affecting the natural balance and sustainability of the environment. Montana Agency Law and Ethics. Agency relationship laws. In Montana, what is the primary duty of a real estate agent to their client under agency law? Is it A, to maximize their own commission, B, to act in the best interest of their client, C, to follow the instructions of any party involved, or D, to maintain neutrality in all transactions? The answer is B, to act in the best interest of their client. The primary duty of a real estate agent is to act in the best interest of their client, ensuring loyalty, confidentiality, and full disclosure, as mandated by Montana agency laws. Which of the following is not a fiduciary duty owed by a real estate agent to their client in Montana? Is it A, confidentiality, B, loyalty, C, disclosure, or D, providing legal advice? The answer is D, providing legal advice. Reasonable care, loyalty, obedience, disclosure, confidentiality, and accounting are the fiduciary duties. Providing legal advice is not a duty, as agents are not licensed attorneys. What must a Montana real estate agent do when a conflict of interest arises in a transaction? Is it A, disclose the conflict to the client, B, ignore the conflict if it benefits the client, C, terminate the agency relationship, or D, seek advice from a colleague? The answer is A, disclose the conflict to the client. Agents must disclose any conflicts of interest to their clients immediately to maintain transparency and integrity in the transaction, as required by Montana law. Under Montana law, when is a dual agency relationship permissible? Is it A, when it benefits the agent financially, B, with informed written consent from both parties, C, when the agent deems it necessary, or D, only in commercial transactions? The answer is B, with informed written consent from both parties. Dual agency is allowed only with the informed and written consent of both parties involved, ensuring that all parties understand the implications of shared representation. Fiduciary duties and client representation. What is the primary fiduciary duty of loyalty in Montana agency law? Is it A, to ensure financial gain for the agent, B, to act in the best interest of the client, C, to disclose all personal information about the client, or D, to negotiate the lowest possible price? The answer is B, to act in the best interest of the client. The duty of loyalty requires agents to act in the best interest of their clients, avoiding conflicts of interest and prioritizing the client's needs above their own or others. Which fiduciary duty involves keeping the client informed about all material facts? Is it A, duty of disclosure, B, duty of confidentiality, C, duty of loyalty, or D, duty of diligence? The answer is A, duty of disclosure. The duty of disclosure requires agents to inform clients of all material facts that could affect their decisions, ensuring transparency and informed consent. In Montana, what is the agent's responsibility under the duty of confidentiality? Is it A, to share client information with other agents, B, to advertise the client's property extensively, C, to disclose financial details to potential buyers, or D, to protect the client's private information? The answer is D, to protect the client's private information. The duty of confidentiality obligates agents to protect their client's private information, ensuring it is not disclosed without consent unless legally required. How does the duty of obedience manifest in client-agent relationships under Montana law? Is it A, by prioritizing the agent's personal judgment, B, by disregarding client instructions if they are inconvenient, C, by following all lawful instructions from the client, or D, by making independent decisions on behalf of the client? The answer is C, by following all lawful instructions from the client. The duty of obedience requires agents to follow lawful instructions from their clients, ensuring that their actions align with the client's directives and legal requirements.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsy.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Montana Ethics Guidelines and Enforcement. What is the primary role of the Montana Board of Realty Regulation in enforcing ethics guidelines? Is it A, to provide legal advice to real estate agents, B, to create new real estate laws, C, to investigate complaints and enforce disciplinary actions, or D, to offer educational resources for real estate professionals? The answer is C, to investigate complaints and enforce disciplinary actions. The Montana Board of Realty Regulation is responsible for enforcing real estate laws and ethics guidelines by investigating complaints against licensees and taking disciplinary actions if necessary. Which of the following actions can lead to disciplinary measures under Montana's real estate ethics guidelines? Is it A, failing to disclose a conflict of interest, B, attending a continuing education course, C, providing accurate property descriptions, or D, negotiating commission rates with clients? The answer is A, failing to disclose a conflict of interest. Failing to disclose a conflict of interest is a violation of ethical guidelines and can lead to disciplinary action, as it breaches the duty of honesty and transparency. What must a Montana real estate licensee do if they discover a client is involved in illegal activities? Is it A, ignore the activities to maintain client confidentiality, B, report the activities to the appropriate authorities, C, discuss the activities with other clients, or D, continue representing the client without taking any action? The answer is B, report the activities to the appropriate authorities. Licensees must report illegal activities to the appropriate authorities to comply with ethical guidelines, ensuring they are not complicit in unlawful conduct. How often must Montana real estate professionals complete ethics training to maintain their license? Is it A, every year, B, every 3 years, C, every 5 years, or D, every 2 years? The answer is D, every 2 years. Montana real estate professionals are required to complete ethics training every 2 years as part of their continuing education requirements to ensure they stay informed about ethical practices. Montana property valuation. Basic principles of property valuation. What is the primary purpose of conducting a property valuation in Montana? Is it A, to establish the historical significance of a property? B, to determine the market value for transactions and taxation? C, to assess the environmental impact of a property? Or D, to evaluate the architectural style of a property? The answer is B, to determine the market value for transactions and taxation. The primary purpose of property valuation is to determine the market value of a property, which is essential for transactions, taxation, and financing. It reflects the property's worth in the current market. Which principle of property valuation suggests that a property's value is influenced by the cost of acquiring a similar property? Is it A, principle of anticipation, B, principle of progression, C, principle of substitution, or D, principle of conformity? The answer is C, principle of substitution. The principle of substitution states that a property's value is affected by the cost of acquiring an equivalent property, as buyers will not pay more for a property than the cost of a similar alternative. How does the principle of highest and best use affect property valuation in Montana? Is it A, it determines the most profitable legal use of the property? B, it focuses on the historical use of the property? C, it evaluates the property's current zoning restrictions? Or D, it analyzes the environmental sustainability of the property? The answer is A, it determines the most profitable legal use of the property. The principle of highest and best use asserts that a property's value is maximized when it is used in a way that is legally permissible, physically possible, financially feasible, and maximally productive. Which factor is considered when applying the principle of contribution in property valuation? Is it A, the historical significance of the property, B, the environmental impact of the property, C, the property's compliance with zoning laws, or D, the added value of improvements or features? The answer is D, the added value of improvements or features. The principle of contribution evaluates how a particular component or feature adds to or detracts from a property's overall value. It assesses the incremental value added by improvements or features. Sales comparison, cost, and income approaches. What is the primary purpose of the sales comparison approach in property valuation? Is it A, to estimate the cost of new construction, B, to determine value based on comparable sales, C, to assess potential rental income, or D, to evaluate depreciation? The answer is B, to determine value based on comparable sales. The sales comparison approach estimates property value by comparing it to similar recently sold properties. It's effective when there are sufficient comparable sales data available. Which factor is least likely to be adjusted in the sales comparison approach? Is it A, location of the property, B, condition of the property, C, age of the comparable sales data, or D, size of the property? The answer is C, age of the comparable sales data. Adjustments in the sales comparison approach are made for differences in property features. The location is often a significant factor, while the age of the comparable sales data is less likely adjusted. In the cost approach, what does the term reproduction cost refer to? Is it A, the cost of land acquisition, B, the cost of modernizing a property, C, the cost of replacing a property with similar utility, or D, the cost of replicating a property exactly? The answer is D, the cost of replicating a property exactly. Reproduction cost refers to the expense of constructing an exact replica of the subject property using identical materials and design. It differs from replacement cost, which involves similar utility but not identical materials. Which method is best suited for valuing a single-family home in a stable market? Is it A, Sales comparison approach. B. Cost approach. C. Income approach. Or D. Residual land value approach. The answer is A. Sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach is ideal for valuing single-family homes in stable markets as it relies on recent sales data from similar properties, offering a realistic market value estimate.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Montana financing. Mortgage loans and financing options. What is the primary purpose of a mortgage insurance premium in Montana FHA loans? Is it A. to reduce the loan interest rate, B. to increase the borrower's credit score, C. to protect the lender against borrower default, or D. to cover closing costs? The answer is C. to protect the lender against borrower default. The MIP protects lenders against losses if borrowers default on their loans. It is a requirement for FHA loans, which typically allow lower down payments and are accessible to a broader range of borrowers. Which type of mortgage loan is most likely to have a variable interest rate in Montana? Is it A. adjustable rate mortgage, B. fixed rate mortgage, C. balloon mortgage, or D. interest-only mortgage? The answer is A. adjustable rate mortgage. An adjustable rate mortgage typically starts with a fixed rate for a set period, then adjusts periodically based on a specified index, reflecting market conditions. Which financing option is specifically designed for rural homebuyers in Montana? Is it A. Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan, B. U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA loan, C. U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA loan, or D. conventional loan? The answer is B. U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA loan. USDA loans are backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and are intended to assist low to moderate income homebuyers in rural areas, offering benefits like no down payment. What is a key feature of a Montana VA loan that benefits eligible veterans? Is it A. higher interest rates, B. mandatory mortgage insurance, C. strict income requirements, or D. no down payment required? The answer is D. no down payment required. VA loans offer no down payment requirements for eligible veterans, making homeownership more accessible by reducing upfront costs. This benefit is a significant advantage over conventional loans. Loan applications and approval processes. What is the maximum allowable debt-to-income ratio for a conventional loan in Montana? Is it A. 35%, B. 40%, C. 45%, or D. 50%? The answer is C. 45%. In Montana, the maximum debt-to-income ratio for a conventional loan is typically 45%. This ratio helps lenders assess the borrower's ability to manage monthly payments and repay debts. Which document is typically required by lenders to verify a borrower's employment during the loan approval process in Montana? Is it A. W-2 form, B. verification of employment, C. pay stubs, or D. tax? The answer is B. verification of employment. Lenders usually require a verification of employment form. This document confirms the borrower's employment status, income, and job stability, which are crucial for loan approval. In Montana, what is the primary purpose of a loan estimate provided by lenders? Is it A. to provide detailed loan terms and costs, B. to guarantee loan approval, C. to finalize the loan agreement, or D. to assess property value? The answer is A. to provide detailed loan terms and costs. A loan estimate provides borrowers with detailed information about the loan, including estimated interest rates, monthly payments, and closing costs. This helps borrowers compare different loan offers. What is the significance of the good faith estimate in Montana's loan application process? Is it A, to lock in interest rates, B, to verify borrowers' income, C, to assess creditworthiness, or D, to estimate closing costs? The answer is D, to estimate closing costs. The good faith estimate provides borrowers with an estimate of closing costs, enabling them to understand potential expenses and compare offers. It is a key component of the loan application process. Montana mortgage disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Montana mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A, to ensure transparency and protect consumers, B, to increase mortgage lender profits, C, to expedite the mortgage approval process, or D, to limit the number of mortgage applications? The answer is A, to ensure transparency and protect consumers. The Montana mortgage disclosure requirements aim to ensure transparency and protect consumers by providing them with essential information about the terms and conditions of their mortgage agreements. Which document must be provided to a borrower before finalizing a mortgage in Montana? Is it A, credit report, B, loan estimate, C, property appraisal, or D, income verification? The answer is B, loan estimate. The loan estimate form is crucial as it outlines the key terms and costs associated with a mortgage, which must be provided to borrowers to facilitate informed decision-making. How long must a lender keep records of mortgage disclosures in Montana? Is it A, 1 year, B, 2 years, C, 3 years, or D, 5 years? The answer is C, 3 years. Lenders are required to maintain records of mortgage disclosures for at least 3 years to ensure compliance with state regulations and to provide a paper trail for auditing purposes. What is a key feature of the closing disclosure form under Montana's mortgage disclosure laws? Is it A, it can be waived by the borrower, B, it provides only a summary of the loan, C, it is optional for loans under $50,000, or D, it must be provided 3 days before closing? The answer is D, it must be provided 3 days before closing. The closing disclosure form must be provided to borrowers at least 3 business days before closing, detailing final loan terms and costs to ensure transparency and allow time for review. Montana-specific loan programs. What is a key feature of the Montana Board of Housing's Home Now program? Is it A, offers reduced interest rates for veterans, B, provides grants for home renovations, C, offers down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers, or D, targets low-income rental assistance? The answer is C, offers down payment assistance for first-time homebuyers. The Montana Home Now program provides down payment assistance to first-time homebuyers, making it easier for them to purchase a home without a significant upfront payment. Which Montana loan program is specifically designed to assist rural homebuyers? Is it A, USDA Rural Development Loan, B, Montana Veterans Home Loan, C, Montana Housing Trust Fund, or D, FHA 203 Loan? The answer is A, USDA Rural Development Loan. The USDA Rural Development Loan Program offers assistance to rural homebuyers, providing benefits such as no down payment and competitive interest rates. Which program offers Montana first-time homebuyers a tax credit on their mortgage interest? Is it A, Montana Home Now, B, Montana Mortgage Credit Certificate, C, Montana Housing Bond Program, or D, Federal Housing Administration, FHA Loan? The answer is B, Montana Mortgage Credit Certificate. The Montana Mortgage Credit Certificate program allows first-time homebuyers to receive a tax credit for a portion of the mortgage interest paid annually. What is the primary benefit of the Montana Veterans Home Loan Program? Is it A, provides rental subsidies, B. Offers home renovation grants. C. Targets first-time homebuyers exclusively. Or D. Offers low-interest loans to veterans. The answer is D. Offers low-interest loans to veterans. The Montana Veterans Home Loan Program offers low-interest loans to eligible veterans, helping them achieve homeownership with more affordable financing options. Montana Board of Housing. What is the primary purpose of the Montana Board of Housing? Is it A. To provide affordable housing solutions and financing assistance? B. To regulate real estate agents and brokers in Montana? C. To oversee commercial property development projects? Or D. To manage state-owned housing properties exclusively? The answer is A. To provide affordable housing solutions and financing assistance. The Montana Board of Housing is tasked with providing affordable housing solutions through various programs, including financing and assistance for low-income residents to improve housing accessibility in Montana. Which program is offered by the Montana Board of Housing to assist first-time homebuyers? Is it A. Home Improvement Grants, B. First Home Program, C. Rental Assistance Initiative, or D. Mortgage Relief Fund? The answer is B. First Home Program. The Montana Board of Housing offers the First Home Program, providing low-interest loans and down payment assistance to eligible first-time homebuyers, making homeownership more achievable. How does the Montana Board of Housing support low-income families? Is it A. By providing luxury housing options, B. By offering high-interest loans, C. Through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, or D. By subsidizing commercial real estate developments? The answer is C. Through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. The board supports low-income families through programs like the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit, which incentivizes developers to create affordable housing, ensuring these families have access to suitable living conditions. What type of assistance does the Montana Board of Housing offer to renters? Is it A. Mortgage refinancing options, B. Down payment assistance, C. Property tax reductions, or D. Rental assistance programs? The answer is D. Rental assistance programs. The Montana Board of Housing offers rental assistance programs to help low-income individuals and families afford rent, ensuring stability and reducing the risk of homelessness. Montana disclosure requirements and forms. Montana-specific disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Montana Property Disclosure Statement? Is it A. To determine property value, B. To inform buyers of material facts, C. To list recent renovations, or D. To establish legal ownership? The answer is B. To inform buyers of material facts. The Montana Property Disclosure Statement is designed to inform buyers about material facts related to the property, ensuring transparency and preventing future disputes. Which party is responsible for completing the Montana Property Disclosure Statement? Is it A. The seller, B. The buyer, C. The real estate agent, or D. The mortgage lender? The answer is A. The seller. The seller is responsible for completing the disclosure statement, providing accurate information about the property's condition to potential buyers. What must be disclosed regarding environmental hazards in Montana real estate transactions? Is it A. Only lead-based paint, B. Only asbestos, C. All known environmental hazards, or D. No environmental hazards? The answer is C. All known environmental hazards. Sellers in Montana must disclose known environmental hazards such as radon, asbestos, or lead-based paint to protect the buyer's health and safety. When must the Montana Property Disclosure Statement be provided to the buyer? Is it A. After closing, B. During home inspection, C. After signing the purchase agreement. Or D. Before signing the purchase agreement. The answer is D. Before signing the purchase agreement. The disclosure statement should be provided before the purchase agreement is signed to ensure the buyer is fully informed about the property's condition. Commonly used Montana forms. Which form is required to disclose the presence of lead-based paint in Montana properties built before 1978? Is it A. Seller Property Disclosure Statement, B. Montana Environmental Disclosure, C. Lead-based paint disclosure, or D. Radon disclosure form? The answer is C. Lead-based paint disclosure. The lead-based paint disclosure form is mandatory for properties built before 1978 to inform buyers about potential lead hazards. It is a federal and state requirement to ensure safety and compliance. What is the purpose of the Montana Buy-Sell Agreement form? Is it A. to outline the terms of a real estate transaction, B. to provide a property's environmental history, C. to disclose known property defects, or D. to register a new property with the state? The answer is A. to outline the terms of a real estate transaction. The Montana Buy-Sell Agreement form outlines the terms and conditions of a real estate transaction, including price, contingencies, and closing details, ensuring both parties understand their obligations. Which form is used to disclose material facts about a property in Montana? Is it A. Montana Environmental Disclosure, B. Seller Property Disclosure Statement, C. Montana Lead-based Paint Disclosure, or D. Buyer's Inspection Notice? The answer is B. Seller Property Disclosure Statement. The Seller Property Disclosure Statement is used to disclose material facts about a property, ensuring buyers are informed about conditions that could affect its value or desirability. In Montana, which form must be provided to tenants regarding the potential presence of hazardous materials? Is it A. Tenant Lease Agreement, B. Montana Radon Disclosure, C. Lead-based Paint Disclosure, or D. Environmental Hazards Disclosure? The answer is D. Environmental Hazards Disclosure. The Environmental Hazards Disclosure is used to inform tenants about potential hazardous materials such as asbestos or mold, ensuring they are aware of potential risks in the property. Specific procedures for transactions. What is the primary purpose of the Montana Seller's Property Disclosure Statement in a real estate transaction? Is it A. to determine the property's market value, B. to inform buyers about the property's condition, C. to negotiate the seller's commission, or D. to establish the property's legal boundaries? The answer is B. to inform buyers about the property's condition. The Montana Seller's Property Disclosure Statement is used to provide potential buyers with information about the property's condition, helping them make informed decisions and protecting sellers from future liability claims. Which entity enforces the compliance of Montana real estate disclosure requirements? Is it A. Montana Board of Realty Regulation, B. Montana Department of Revenue, C. Montana Department of Commerce, or D. Montana Housing Authority? The answer is A. Montana Board of Realty Regulation. The Montana Board of Realty Regulation oversees the enforcement of real estate disclosure requirements, ensuring that all transactions adhere to state laws and regulations. When must the Montana lead-based paint disclosure be provided in a real estate transaction? Is it A. for all properties regardless of age, B. only for commercial properties, C. for residential properties built before 1978, or D. only if the buyer requests it? The answer is C. for residential properties built before 1978. The lead-based paint disclosure is required for properties built before 1978, ensuring buyers are aware of potential lead hazards before completing the purchase. What is a key requirement when completing the Montana buy-sell agreement? Is it A, it must be notarized by a public official? B, it must include a list of personal property? C, it must be signed by a real estate attorney? Or D, it must detail all terms of the transaction? The answer is D. It must detail all terms of the transaction. The buy-sell agreement must include all terms of the transaction, such as price, contingencies, and deadlines, ensuring both parties have a clear understanding of the agreement.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit Birdsy.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsy, your AI-powered study partner.